Halloween isn't a day, it's a season. There's no better way to keep the thrills and scares coming than to set up a Halloween movies marathon that could last the entire month. These Halloween movies on Netflix have all the flavors of scares you need. Who needs trick-or-treating? Stay home and stream these scary films instead. Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about 30 best Halloween movies on Netflix right now. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and joining the crew. I post new videos every other week. Be in the lookout for that. Also leave content suggestions on my pinned comment. I'd love to check them out. Before we get into Halloween 2021, allow me to make some special mentions on our Halloween 2020 video. My own personal favorites were His House, Poltergeist, Vampires vs. the Bronx, The Green Inferno, The Guest, Truth or Dare, and Spookly the Square Pumpkin. Make sure to watch the video if you haven't yet, and let me know your favorites in the comment section below.
We're all cursed.
Fear Street Trilogy. This is a trilogy of Netflix Halloween movies based on the R.I. Stein books. It explores how the village of Shadyside, Ohio has been plagued over the decades by the bad juju of a wronged witch. Each takes place in different time periods: Fear Street 1994, Fear Street 1978, and Fear Street 1666.
I'm new in town and I would love to learn more about the older homes in the...
Things Heard and Seen. Things Heard and Seen follows a young mom as she moves from the city to the country with her family. She starts to see and experience strange things, but is it just loneliness or is it the past residents of the house revealing themselves to her?
Something's happening.
The Silence. If you went out for A Quiet Place Part 2 this year, this movie also features monsters that hunt by sound. A teenager and her family try to seek refuge but wind up crossing paths with a cult.
There's someone out there.
The Strangers. Do yourself a favor and don't watch this one alone, and if you do, then make sure all the doors are locked. In this creepy thriller, a couple enjoying a romantic getaway suddenly find themselves at the mercy of three masked and deranged intruders.
We gotta get out of here.
Alive. The South Korean film follows a live streamer who, after a virus starts a zombie outbreak, he must find a way to survive while locked in his apartment alone. After the past year 2020, maybe you can relate. The Binding. This Italian horror film is flying under the radar on Netflix. But if you like mysterious forces, possible curses, and the Italian countryside, you might want to give it a look. It's about a woman who believes her daughter is cursed and tries to protect her from malevolent forces.
Bond with a mother is unbreakable.
Rattlesnake. Here's a conundrum. This movie follows a mom whose daughter, after being bitten by a rattlesnake, is saved by a mysterious stranger. The stranger then demands that she take her life in return. Carmen Ejogo stars as the mom put in an impossible position.
What do you mean it's happening again?
The Shadow of the Moon. Directed by Jim Mickle, well known for the vampire movies Techland, In the Shadow of the Moon is a mind-bending crime drama about a Philadelphia detective who's obsessed with a female serial killer. She returns every 9 years and her crime seems to defy science. Winchester. There's nothing more Halloween than a haunted house, and the Winchester Mansion is the ultimate. The film is based on the true story of Sarah Winchester, heiress to the family's firearm fortune. She spends her life building a never-ending maze of stairways and secret rooms to keep the ghosts of the people killed by the Winchester guns at bay. The Tall Grass. This movie is based on a novella Stephen King wrote with his son Joe Hill. Siblings Becky and Carl rescue a young boy who's lost in a field, only to find out there may be something else lurking in there. Fractured. Avatar's Sam Worthington plays a dad whose daughter breaks her arm traveling. This necessitates a trip to the hospital. While there, he exhaustedly takes a rest and wakes up to find out that no one in the hospital has any recollection of his wife or daughter.
I love you, Daddy.
Love you, sweetheart.
We're different because of where we grew up. Hill House.
The Haunting of Hill House. Not technically a movie, The Haunting of Hill House is a series for when you want to feel scared for multiple days in a row. There are 2 seasons available, The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. Each one of them tells the story of a different haunted house. Keep your eyes peeled in the background of scenes since you might see some ghosts lurking.
Cette chose me suit dans mes cauchemars depuis mon enfance.
Mariane. Mariane is suitable if you're out for a series. It follows a horror writer whose demonic visions start plaguing her real hometown.
Prom king and prom queen are...
Prom night. A prom full of magic, memories and murder. Brittany Snow plays a high school senior whose troubled past catches up with her at prom. This leads to some deadly results. Army of the Dead. It's a remake of Dawn of the Dead and the result is a bit of mindless and dead fun. Dave Bautista stars as the leader of a ragtag group of former soldiers who are tasked with breaking into the zombie overrun city of Las Vegas. They have to retrieve millions in a safe under the city. Cadaver. This film envisions a future in which resources are so scarce that people will do anything for them. This brings a family of 3 to an event at a hotel that has truly sinister undertones.
How did his father die?
The Killing of a Sacred Deer. In this twisted 70s psychological horror film, a man who likes to play God meets a boy who likes to play Satan. Oxygen. As a follow-up to Crawl, a woman wakes up in a cryogenic chamber with no memory of how she got there or even who she is. As she runs out of oxygen, she has to piece together the fragments of her memory. The Platform. This Spanish hit has been one of the most watched films on Netflix. As the world ends with a pandemic, there's a futuristic society that falls apart because of greed and selfishness. The concept is a great hook. A futuristic prison sends a platform of food down floor by floor and there's not much left by the time it gets to the bottom. Grisly and smart, this is a movie people will be talking about long after the pandemic.
It's disgusting.
Rob would have loved this place. He's a good man.
Ritual. A man deals with trauma after the death of a friend in a robbery. In order to heal himself and his other friends, they plan a hiking trip in northern Sweden in memory of their lost ally. Things do not go as planned.
My name is Lily. I'm going to be staying with you from now on. I hope that's all right.
I am the pretty thing that lives in the house. A caretaker named Lily is tending to an old horror writer who suffers from dementia. It turns out the old lady's house may be haunted. Moodier and more deliberate than probably any other film in this list, the atmosphere is creepy and unforgettable. Calibre. 2 Scotsmen go hunting and a horrible accident happens that results in the shooting of a young boy. Instead of owning the horror, they try to cover it up. If movies have taught us anything, is that covering up a child's death never works.
Who is that?
I just tried to hang up on him.
Can we get rid of this person?
I don't know.
Unfriended. It's a smart horror film told through the screen of a MacBook. It tells the story of a high school student who discovers that their Skype conversation is quite haunted.
Oi, eu sou Veronica Torres.
Veronica. It's a story of a woman who died mysteriously after using a Ouija board in 1991. The story goes that the teenager tried to contact her friend's deceased boyfriend, and well, things went weird. It's an effective horror flick with some memorable imagery. We summon the darkness. This movie stars Alexandra Daddario as one of the 3 women who meet a bunch of guys at a metal show and end up taking them back to the house they are sharing. This script is a clever little thriller against a backdrop of satanic murders.
Basically, they're a blood cult, and they made a deal with the devil. And they only had 3.
Babysitter, Killer Queen. Starring the likes of Judah Lewis, Emily Eileen Lynn, Bella Thorne and more, this movie is not afraid to throw blood around. There's some truly wacky and gory deaths, and most of them are happening to resurrected demon cultists.
My name is Scarlett Marlowe, and I'm a student in urban archaeology.
As above, so below. This is a footage movie with more ambition. The story unfolds as a metaphysical descent into hell, with the crew confronting various sins and failings.
Working on the difficult things.
better or worse.
Gerald's Game. A husband and wife try to rekindle their passion on a romantic weekend. This ends up with the husband dying of cardiac arrest while the wife is handcuffed to the bed. Afterwards, she starts to see visions and warped memories as she decides what to do to escape.
Me. You only kill what keeps you alive.
What keeps you alive? Jules and Jackie are taking a trip to an old family home of Jackie's to celebrate their anniversary when things go wrong. With a shocking mid-movie twist that best remains unspoiled, this is a tense, clever movie with a pair of strong performances and tight screenplay. Daybreak. Daybreak is a series for those looking for a Halloween binge watch. Partly zombie thriller, partly teen comedy, it follows a teenage outcast as he navigates a post-apocalyptic world full of Mad Max-style gangs. This list was hard to come up with. Shout out Patriotic Saint for the constant reminder to upload the video. Make sure to watch our last year's video, the first link in the description, and compare the two. Stream our entire movies playlist, drop a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Halloween.